Our meditation for the Wednesday of Holy Week by Scott Stoner is called The Way of Love. We begin with a quotation from Ephesians chapter 3. I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power, together with all the Lord's holy people, to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. Scott Stoner writes, Michael Curry, the presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, along with a group of his colleagues, has created a guide for living the Christian life called The Way of Love. This guide outlines 7 critical practices for living a life of faith. Turn, learn, pray, worship, bless, go, and rest. If you are not familiar with it, I encourage you to explore the many online resources that bring these 7 practices to life. In our culture, the idea of love is often talked about as a feeling. A deeper understanding of love, though, is grounded in the realization that love is first and foremost a decision, an act of faith, an act of the will. To love in the face of fear, in the face of overwhelming challenges, and even in the face of death, is to make a decision, a choice to love. As we have learned in our journey together this Lent, this choice takes courage, ongoing courage, to choose to walk the way of love, one day, one decision at a time. The New Testament is filled with teachings about the way of love. Yet no teaching is more powerful than the actions we recall this week as we walk the way of love with Jesus through Holy Week. We can make it personal. What do you think of the idea that love is much more than a feeling, that it is a decision, a choice, a way of loving? Can you think of a time when it took courage for you to walk the way of love? What did you learn from that experience? There are lots of reasons to have a rehearsal before a wedding. The participants need to know where to stand, how to get to their places, and how to leave when it's all over. The bridesmaid needs to know when to take the bride's flowers, and the best man needs to know when to produce the rings. But I always thought the most important reason for rehearsing a wedding was to get the very first response of the bride and groom right. Near the beginning of the service, at the declaration of consent, the couple is asked whether they will have each other as husband and wife. Most couples think they know the right response. They've watched enough weddings in the movies to know that they're to say, I do, but they'd be wrong. The proper response, at least at weddings in the Episcopal Church, is, I will. Scott Stoner, in his meditation, has it right. Love is more than an emotion or a feeling. It's a decision. During Holy Week, we remember all the different times when Jesus chose to love, when it would have been easier to not love. From his triumphal entry on Palm Sunday, all the way through Good Friday, Jesus chose the way of love, so that all the decisions we have to make to love might be, if not easier, then at least possible. May God bless you during this Holy Week and bring you with joy to the feast next Sunday. And remember that you are always loved.